All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you all are here. Thank you for joining us again. I'm sitting in once again for Sister Audrey Muhammad. My name is Elliott McCants. She would say doctor, but I'm working on that. That's my next goal. Um, Today, I want to talk about education. Last week, we talked about propaganda. My big brother and I were just sharing some things. So please join in and, ask questions, make comments so we can respond to them as well. Because last time I thought it was great and it made it a little bit more lively. I do have our book list from last time. I just didn't get a chance to type it up. But I'm going to make sure that you get it and I'll put it out there. Um, Today, we want to talk about education. All right. So I'm going to start out with a basic definition of education. Education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. Now, the second definition is it's supposed to be an enlightening experience. Let's look at the first definition. There are two words in there, or part of a phrase, that's very important. Systematic instruction. Now, the question is, whose system? And what's that instruction supposed to look like? So, as an educator, let me say this, and I know this is probably going to get me in trouble. Ah, real education does not take place in those four walls. Real education takes place outside of those institutions. Those institutions are typically guided by business and politics. We say it once again. Institutions are typically guided by politics and business. Oh, I'm going to go get a business degree. For what? To start a business on your own? Sure. You think that they're really talking about giving that type of economic and educational liberation? I don't think so. Well, I'm going to go work for a business doing what? Well, I'm going to get my MBA doing. That's great. Go get them.
Right.
I'm never going to tell anyone not to go get an education. Never, never. When we came off the plantation in 1865, the population was right around 19 million people.
Mm.
16 million people went to school.
Mm.
The 3 million that did not go to school were either too old or too young.
Mm.
So the grandmom or the big mom stayed back home and took care of the babies.
Right.
So somebody got some sort of education somewhere. Well, hello to everybody that's joining us. We appreciate you all. So remember when we were younger and we've truly gotten away from this, when you would come home and you had to sit at the table with everybody and sit there and do your homework either before dinner or after dinner. But you had to get your homework done before you can go outside and play or play whatever video games or do anything. You had to get your homework done. You had to get your learning done.
Right.
But guess what was taking place when that learning was taking place? The babies had to sit at the table and the elders sit at the table as well. So that if you were the student, you would come home and you were the teacher for everybody in that house.
Mm.
So sitting at the dinner table, that's African. We did that. Sitting at the dinner table where we all sat down in the front room, wherever it was, where we all did that. And everybody, we got people from California. That's what's up.
Dear brother Marcus Fielder.
Yeah.
You see this question for you, don't you, Tracy Jones?
Wait a minute. Let me see. I missed the question. Oh, okay. I see it, but I don't see it.
I'll read it. She said, public general education philosophy, we want workers, not thinkers. Early 1900s, Rothschild Gates.
Well, you have to go before that because there were some other gentlemen, and their names escape me, that kind of sort of started the public educational process. You're absolutely correct. But they, at that time, were doing a social experiment, even here in America,
right,
where they were separating the blue-eyed kids from the brown-eyed kids on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So later, the Freedmen's Bureau comes in, which was a mixture of people who tried to help African people after slavery to start these freedom, so-called real true freedom schools.
Mhm.
But they weren't trying to give education. At that point, we were getting the type of education, and I think somebody said they're absolutely right. We're the most highly educated at that time, you know, even under the conditions that we are, because so many people went to school.
Mhm.
But even the Freedmen's Bureau, they were giving the type of education to help rebuild people and help, you know, learn how to do carpentry, bookkeeping, teaching, all of these other
Because
things.
what I was just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. He said, I know.
No, is he talking about that? He said, if you're gonna look at that time, what we talking about going back then, he said you didn't see, and I'm not trying to be vulgar or be hostile. He said you didn't see a white person with a hammer. You know, he said them jobs that they was doing, they was looked down upon.
Yeah.
They did not do that work. When you do watch it, you're gonna see everything we talking about. What you finna break down, it's all in there. It's like, but like I said before, it's just amazing.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna definitely make sure I watch it.
Yeah, it's rough. But back to the education, well, like how you saying it, it's just like, but was it to make us better people or make us more acceptable to Western philosophy?
Well, it's both.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had two different points of view.
Mm-hmm.
One view was stay here because we helped build America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, we didn't help build America. We were forced to build it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where people want to get this idea. Well, we helped build it, so we should stay here and we should get piece of the pie. Where are they giving you this piece of the pie at? I don't understand it. And I get the other part of the ideology is, well, we can't go home to Africa. It depends on how you go home to Africa. If you go home thinking that you're European, that you're better than them, there's going to be a problem because you're on their land and you're coming in on their terms. So it's best to try and ingratiate yourself as part of the family instead of I'm something better, I'm bigger than that, or I'm different because I got an American education. One of my teachers, and I've only met him a couple of times, but I love his ideology. His name is Dr. Theophil Obenga, and he's got to be in his 80s now. And he used to work with Dr. Shinkat Joke, who wrote several books that I would bring in later on and talk about later on. And he told us in a workshop, it's like, we're waiting for you all because y'all have been through the most atrocious thing in the whole world. You're the strongest group of people in the world. You're the most highly educated group of people in the whole world because y'all figured things out even when you couldn't figure stuff out. But we're waiting on y'all. But you have to come over, and because we have some of our culture intact, you got to come over and you got to want to join with us and not be above us. And that's part of our issue. You go home, you can't go home. Yes, you can. I've been there, done that. I have people I still talk to now. Every day. When you coming back? When you coming back home? We waiting on you. When you coming back home? And they fussing because I ain't had a chance to come back home. But it's because I went over there. I didn't go over there as somebody above them. I went over there as somebody to learn. And I was humble. And I wanted to learn from them. And that made a big difference of how they saw me. Until I spoke, they didn't think I was from America. Oh man, you Fulani. Oh, you from America? Dang, you haven't been home in a long time. That's what I get.
You know what? I could get that. I think it's like I'll say this. I think somewhere like it need to be a bridge where both sides, because you got to understand, we so far really removed that us here, we really a whole nother makeup.
But where did that makeup come from?
They came through
slavery. They came through slavery. Right. So so you turn around and make you turn around and stop bringing in people from either the Caribbean or the continent anymore after 1808. 1808. You stop bringing in people. Why? Because, well, wait a minute. The Haitians just beat the French. And now we alerted to other stuff that's going on the continent. So now what we're doing is we're pushing back to this colonialism that you're trying to do over here, and it's neo-colonialism and all this other stuff. So now, hey, wait a minute, time out. We can fight, we can beat y'all because the Haitians just showed us that. We can't have that over here. So you cut the borders off, you so-called pass a law, and now you start to grow a population inside that you can control things.
No doubt. I couldn't go with that. I'm just looking at like how you say how they didn't build. Why we not? And like I say, even in that, the brother talk about. Look at these depopulated neighborhoods, depleted neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Why not we listen? We didn't build. Because when everybody just talk about roads, I mean not roads, we talk about Black Wall Street. You know how many other? It was over 600 Black Wall Streets.
But the issue that happened during that time,
Yeah,
and we built it. You're right.
Right.
Tulsa wasn't just the one of Rosewood. There
Right.
was Haytide,
yeah,
where Oscarville, where Lake Lanier is.
yeah,
There's many of them around here. Hey,
yeah,
on the other side of town here,
yeah,
where Clark School was,
Right.
That was a whole black neighborhood that we
Right.
built. And I think we become afraid because of what the institutional racism has done.
Yeah, because we looked at it all. They tore them down. Why are we so scared to redo it? We can solve damn near 90% of our own problems.
We can solve 100% of our own problems because the people were willing to. Okay, well, Dort School's right over here off of Saginaw and Hamilton.
Hamilton, right?
Okay, give us the keys. Let's do it. We're in the neighborhood right over there. Let's
Right.
go ahead on and do this. Let's go ahead on. Give us the keys. We'll renovate it. We'll fix it up. We got people that know how to do this stuff.
Right.
Hey man, I don't know. I'm not a licensed carpenter, but I know how to put a wall up because I had to do it in my house.
Right.
Okay, we need you because you have an education to give us. You have something to give us.
Right.
And if you get 5 or 6 people with hammers and nails and some instruction, we can make it happen.
But why don't we never do that? It's like
because we're looking for handouts.
Right.
Everybody want a handout. We're in a generation now that people think that just because I exist, you owe me. Not that I have to work for it. I don't want to work for it. Just because I breathe the same air that you do, we're equals. No, we're not. I'm 61.
Mm-hmm.
You're 21.
Mm-hmm.
We're not equal.
Right.
There's nothing equal about us. I have 40 years of life over you.
Right.
I have 40 years of experience. You may have done a bunch of different stuff. I'm not discounting that.
Right.
But you don't have life experience. That's equal.
Right.
So we're not equal. We want to think now that a little kid, and now I'm supposed to just give him respect. No, you got to earn it. It's like, no, hell no. I'm sorry. My fault.
No, you good. You good.
No, because this stuff is, this is the insanity that we're dealing with.
Right. How do we, my thing is, I've always been trying to figure out, how do we solve the problem? Because we see the problem, but how do we fix it?
The fix it is that we have to go back to what we used to do. If you see my child out and you out of order, that my child's out of order, you have every right to correct my child. And there's nothing. Well, you should have been out of order. Not, hey man, why you check my child? They've done that. That's been something. Well, if somebody hits your kid, then call 911. Now, I'm not saying that it has to be abusive and out of order.
Right.
I'm not saying that, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not even saying that we have to have corporal punishment in schools, because some people will get carried away with that. But at the same time, if we're going to occupy and control the community in which we live, and you see kids, it's like when I was telling you earlier, we talked about this last week, young lady in a car showing her behind, literally. Yeah. And if I say something to her, instead of you want to argue with me, I can do what I want to. My fault, pop, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I was just having a good time. We want to be okay with always having a good time, and then wonder the reason why we're in crisis all the time.
Right.
We're in crisis all the time. No discipline, no education, no concern, no care about ourselves, and we got people. And I want to use the term ignorant, because they are ignorant, not to stuff because they know stuff, but they're ignorant to what their image looks like. They're ignorant to the fact that you want to go and challenge somebody to say you can do whatever, my child can do whatever they want to. But then when they older and something happens, you want to cry. You can't complain. You can't, right? Because we've allowed it. The system has allowed it, right? It's okay for me to buy my son at 7 or 8 years old, or 3 or 4 years old, or 2 years old, a pair of $220 Jordans because there was some shoes I didn't have before. I don't nobody care nothing about what you didn't have before. This kid's gonna outgrow them shoes in a month. What you spending that money for? But yet you struggling to eat.
It's the mentality.
So we have to work at changing the mindset. And is that going to be everybody? No, it's not going to be everybody. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it's not going to be everybody. You're right. Somebody said it takes a village. And until we become back to that ideology where my child is your child and your child is my child, my loaf of bread is yours, your piece of meat is mine, and we're able to share. Oh man, you got a nice house. But you don't understand what it takes me to put this house together. But that don't mean I won't share with you. Oh, but we're afraid of it. If I share, then you're gonna do better than me because I don't want to share with you. That's crazy. That's insanity. Because when we were so-called free, if you needed to build a barn, we all went to build a barn. And the wives may have gone to the kitchen and they cooked so that they could feed us so that we could build the barn all day long.
But and then we so rough on our own though, man.
We're supposed to be hard on our own. Look at the stuff we coming through.
What I'm saying, not saying. I'm talking about how we like a dog each other. We'll burn each other down instead of help build each other up.
But that's mental propaganda. That's mental propaganda. Because it's no different than what happened in Rwanda and Burundi in 84. I could be wrong with the year, but 800,000 people murdered each other, and these are families. The Hutsis and the Tutsis.
I remember that Rwanda.
The Hotel Rwanda. If y'all go watch that. All right, go watch that movie. 800,000 people killed each other with whatever they had in their hand in 100 days, all because a group of people told one group, because you were taller, you were better than the other group. That's simply it.
The Belgians, when they came in, I'm gonna tell you, you watched Hotel Rwanda.
Yes, sir.
No, go watch the one Sometimes It Rain in April.
That's the other one. I've seen that.
Because when they did, I remember when they had the actors, because I love when you go watch I remember when HBO when they did the documentary, where they showed the skulls. That was real people.
That was real people. Yeah,
that was the skulls that they had in the movie. I saw the actresses and actresses was crying when they was talking about making it. They was just like, when they went to that school, it was the schoolyard when you see them. But you got to look at it. It was you're right. It was the Hutus and the Watusi. They had been getting along for thousands of years until the Belgians come in
and then told one group that you was better than another group because you were simply tall.
And it was three of them. It was a third one. But when if you watch Sometimes It Rain in April, you'll see in the beginning it was three of them when it first come on. It tell you. And then like it was cold blooded, but you know how they felt about them because this was during the Clinton administration.
Right.
They said, huh? It was the Clinton administration.
So late 80s, early 90s.
Because where they came from, they said, well, they don't care. They no different than the niggas here.
Right.
This would and they looked at them no different than they looked at us. They said it's no different than the niggas here.
Right.
That's cold blood.
Okay.
That's cold blood.
It is. Okay. Wait a second. I've got somebody just said something. We can't negate the sellouts. Absolutely true. But we know who they are. We know who the sellouts are. See, y'all getting us off topic, but I love it. We know who the sellouts are because those are the groups of people that the politicians and the police go running to.
Right.
So when you go to church and it's election time, you don't see them no other time. And then you got your pastor that y'all love so dearly want to tell you who to vote for, and all y'all gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we start talking about sellouts, better look in the pulpit too sometimes. That may get me in trouble. But I'm telling you the truth. Why would you come to my church where I don't see you no other time? You ain't coming every Sunday. You ain't putting nothing in the pot. But when it get around September, October, August, November, here you come. And then what do? We smile and shuck and jive and hug them up. They talk about this and they force us to vote with whatever.
Yeah. Every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years we go through this. You'll see them.
Okay, so my man Chris Caleb, I love him. Listen, bro, We already know, but do we have to follow? We already know. We already know who that group is, but do we have to follow? But we follow them because they're the ones that play in between people, us people of African descent in America, and the other group of people. We know who they are.
Yeah.
So you know what? What did she say? We fall for the
Propaganda of the enemy who is putting us against each other in order to destroy us.
That's all it is. We talked about propaganda last week. You should got to go check that one out. But you're absolutely right.
That is where it's so crazy.
But, bro, I mean, okay, so Mr. Philip Johnson, so maybe somebody doesn't know how to fix a roof. Man, come on. There's too many people to ask. The elder persons to ask. YouTube, books. That's not an excuse. I'm not.
No, he said, but they can get some. They can bring a jug of milk to him.
There we go,
yeah,
my man.
Said,
okay,
yeah.
You're right. Because I'm gonna tell you what. Okay, when and I don't care whether people like this or not, or like him or not. One of the few black people, African people in America that built the university, Booker T. Washington, one of my favorites. I don't care. Go research him more than what you think you heard. He said the greatest gift that he ever got from the people when he was building Tuskegee Normal Institute, was a black woman, elder black woman, who came to him with a dozen eggs, saying, "This is all that I have. But I want to, because you're building this place of learning, I'm going to give you the eggs that I have." Dropped the eggs off, gave it to him, turned around, walked away. That was up from slavery. He said that at that point, it broke him down and he cried. But you're absolutely right. Bring something. Because this is an easy fix. We just got to want to do it.
But not hard. We don't do it. That's the thing.
Because we want handouts.
Because I'm looking at my...
I'm going to say this again.
Yeah, go ahead.
We figured that we're supposed to get a handout. Just because, look, a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old man, 18-year-old man think they're the same as I am. You are not. I don't care what happened. You're not the same as me. We're not equal. If you're 61 and I'm 61, that's the only time we're equal. If you're 55, you in a group, but you're still lower than me. I don't care what your experiences are. We're not equal. If you was born a month before me, we're not equal. We're only the same age. But for 11 months, you're older than I am. I have to bow down to that. We don't have that anymore. That's a cultural thing that we've lost because we've adopted this other culture, this other ideology. People say what they want to. This new hip hop insanity, that's insanity.
Right.
Because none of these guys compare to X-Clan, KRS-One, Poor Righteous Teachers, Arrested Development, Public Enemy, Paris, Brand Nubian. We're talking about stuff. Then that's education as well. Dang, I ain't never heard of that person. Let me go check that person out.
Gangstar.
There's a bunch of them that out, but those are the ones that is on my playlist
for sure.
that I listen to all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that was a
even Ice Cube.
Yeah, but that was a designated. They did that for a reason.
On purpose.
Yeah,
once again, propaganda, right?
Yeah.
So propaganda and education run hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? So if I tell you that okay, we're gonna learn about water, and water is H2O. Or if I tell you the sky is blue, and you tell me, no, I don't think it's blue.
Right.
Well, what color you think it? What does it look like? Well, what makes blue blue? See, that's thinking. Even though I might be on some mess, that's thinking. You're not somebody's sitting around there trying to say, hey, well, why do you think the sky is blue? Well, we can through science we can say because of refraction and the bending light and all this other stuff, whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
But go back and check multiple sources of it as well.
Yeah.
Not just I want you to tell me the sky is blue and then I'm just gonna believe it's blue because you said it's blue. No.
Right. But see, that's going in depth. Like, but how many people they say put it in the book if you want to keep it from what? Yeah. Ain't that a hell of a statement?
But you know why? Because even and I get fussed at from some of the some brothers that I work with. Well, you got a computer. It's on your hip. No, I want to read it. Because that way I can, what we talked about before, I can slow my head down, slow my mind down, slow my thinking down, and pick up what I feel is necessary out of what it is that I'm reading and investigating.
Right.
Right. Propaganda sells.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's big business.
All day long.
Yeah, because you see, like right now, like no, I know I'm gonna get in trouble for what I'm about to say. I know, but I'm honest. We right now, what are we doing? We telling everybody you do got to get out there and vote. I think locally is more important than nationally.
I don't see myself voting for anything nationally because it's a bunch of BS, and those policies don't affect us until years later. But locally, absolutely.
And the reason I say this is they like, you got to get out here. At the end of the day, America is a corporation. I don't care what nobody say.
And it has an agenda.
Right. Everyone who get in the script.
But now, here's the other part about that. What's the, and I'm not talking about, because I know there was a time when Tavis Smiley and his crew had an agenda for Black America or whatever. But we had other people that wrote about an agenda that was way older. Like I mentioned David Walker last week. He had an agenda for Black America back in 1834. Got him killed, but his writings still matter and they still mean something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why you think, like, just think about certain ones that they letting over here, right? Let's just be honest. Like, they wouldn't dare let a Patrice Lumumba come over here in America.
They had to kill him over there. You ain't gonna let him come over there. But didn't we talk about Marcus Garvey before? So they let him come up. But in Jamaica, they shunned him until after he died. Yeah. In his own place where he was born at in Kingston, they shunned him until he died in 1940. That's only when he became important. They didn't listen to him at all. So he comes to America. He wants to meet Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington dies before he gets here, but they had correspondence.
Right.
And Booker T. Washington's idea of doing for self was the seed for Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
So him building the UNIA and everything else, and I'm going to go and become the Emperor of Africa, and we're going to build a Black Star Line and all this other stuff and do all of these things for ourselves, that came from Booker T. Washington. I'm going to say this again. Most people do not know that Booker T. Washington, used the funds that he got. We ain't going to talk about that Project 2025 yet because I got to read it. So you got to wait. Hold off on that. I'll get back to y'all next week if I'm here.
Right.
That project, Booker T. Washington funneled funds that he was getting from the federal government. And yet people said, well, he was doing this. It didn't matter. The whole point of the exercise was to get Tuskegee built. Taking funds, going to Black lawyers in Harlem, having them buy buildings from whoever was running Harlem. Some people say it was Jewish people, whatever, where he had the section of Harlem that he wanted to buy, that was from Booker T. Washington. Harold Cruz Crisis of the Negro Intellectual.
But that's what I'm saying. Back then when you knew.
See, we don't think that this racism exists.
That shows you how crazy that we are in 2024.
Well, you're right. That shows you that race. We believe that it doesn't exist because we might have a white friend, or a white friend may say, I got a Black friend. What?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard as a coach, I've heard somebody say, I'm glad my son is around Black coaches. What? How come I can't just be a coach? I have to be a Black coach?
But I just like what American, what you got to identify as an African American, or you got to identify. It's like, see these things, the labels. To me,
but what group of people who have to label stuff? So when you go to the zoo, you don't know where the lions are, other than the fact that they put a thing up there that says the lions are in this particular area. The giraffes are over here. Just, in science, they call it classification. Only one group of people did that. So if we look at it in terms of what African ideology is, that's all just part of nature, right? See it. It's only because people wanted to classify stuff. Europeans want to classify things to put it in a box so you can identify it, and if it has these characteristics and this and that and other, do they want to do that? We can fix our own problem our own self. Easy, no problem. I'm not looking for somebody to come and cut my grass. It'd be nice every once in a while because I am kind of busy. But if not, then guess who got to go cut it? I do. It's my job.
Right.
It's also my job to be educational enough and educated enough and learn enough in order to be able to teach not only my students, but anybody that is willing to listen. Now, the issue is most of the time people are not willing to change. They want to keep on doing that because whatever it is, I'm good.
They like this. I mean, just we got to be honest. A lot of people like this thing called America. Much as they tell you they don't like, they love what they love.
Yeah,
they
because
love
of the
what's going on.
amenities.
Yeah,
they love the amenities. Now,
yeah.
that don't mean that okay, you know what, such and such got killed.
Yeah.
George Floyd got choked to death.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna outrage because I don't want to upset what I got.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, but they love. I can go do this. I can be like
but you
a lot.
Can't go do that.
But they don't know that. But that's the thing. They trick thinking like, okay, you know, now I can go to the club. You know what I'm saying? We really be, to me, I think we be lower. I ain't gonna say lower. We be gave the things of our lower self that we like. You know, oh, you can have this many women, or you can do this drug.
Well, where'd that come from, though? Where's it come from? Let's go back. Let's go back. We still got to go back to this thing where they created another group of people.
Right.
So if from 1808 to 1863, I'm not importing anything else in. I can go do what I want to this group of people. I'm brutalizing them as harshly as I possibly can. I'm telling them they can go, but they don't want to go nowhere because they listen to somebody say they want to stay. Other people saying, well, we out of here. Then, okay, no problem. I'll create something different now. So in creating something different in that 53, 58 years, whatever it is, do the math, somebody for me real quick. Yeah, 8, 53, 55 years, 45 years, 55 years, whatever. If I'm creating something different, then I'm turning that thing away from what it is into what I want it to be. So it's okay for me to lynch him. It's okay. I own you. So, we're going to get reparations. Why? I'm giving you an opportunity to go to school.
After it was the time you would get took out for trying to read.
See, we don't. But see, we don't want to talk about that because not only are they taking it out of school on purpose, but they're also that we don't have people that have libraries that have none of this stuff in it because we're afraid of. I don't want to feel some sort of way about a group of people. I don't want to be angry about this. I don't want to be. That's education, though.
Yeah, but you got to go back to what you said last week. Remember when you watch that video, it's going to talk about the 1870, the Great Compromise.
Yes.
See, we don't want to realize that was Democrats and Republicans.
What do the Native Americans say? Right wing or left wing is the wing of the same bird.
Yeah.
I don't care what bird you choose. I don't care what wing you choose.
Yeah.
You can choose the right wing if you want to. You can choose the left wing if you want to. It's all from the same bird. And that bird does not have your best interest at heart.
Because how can I have you in slavery, then I let you go, but I send you out there with nothing. And this one we finna get back to the Jim Crow. Oh no, we'll bring you back. Not Jim Crow. What was they calling it at this time? We'll bring you back. Sharecropping.
Wait a minute. Let's do one even better. Okay, for those of y'all who like horse races, Kentucky Derby. This is a book called $40 Million Slaves by William Roden. Go get it.
Yep, $40 million.
Y'all build a library, man. I'm tired of talking to y'all and y'all ain't doing no. I'm telling y'all all of these books to get, and y'all ain't telling me what you got in your library, but I'm giving you what I got in mine. So y'all better get it together.
$40 million.
$40 million slave. He mentioned the first 13 or 18 winners of the Kentucky Derby were black men. The white jockeys decided they were going to form a union. And after that, no more black jockeys. And we haven't seen a black jockey since that I know of. And I still on occasion watch it. The last time I really watched it, I'm going to date myself again, was Secretariat back in 72, 73. That was the last time I really watched it. So every once in a while I watch it. Just, nostalgic type stuff, just like watching Indy 500, that type of stuff. because my dad used to race boats.
Mm.
So that kind of got me I ain't getting out
See,
there.
I was
something different.
Yeah, see, I was more brought up on the Negro League. My old man always talk about base because I didn't know he used to play baseball back at Burson back in the 70s.
Yep.
You know, he was like, that's what a lot of the black, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how we saying all of them want to be basketball players
Right.
now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
No,
back
we
then.
wanted to play baseball because
Yeah.
baseball was the easier sport. Look, Dave Winfield, before he retired from, I want to say Minnesota, could be wrong. Man, he's standing out there in the outfield making $22 million a year, standing there waiting for a ball to come. He played 22 years doing nothing. From 20 to 42 or whatever. Still hitting the ball good, $22 million a year. Really? Now we want to do this other thing because certain things have made it popular. Not knocking it. Not knocking it. But most of the young people think that they hoopers. Y'all not hoopers for real. And most of y'all don't even go to school. Seriously. I know a kid, and I love him. Hooper. Could hoop. Refuse to go to school. And man, I ain't gonna beg you for your life to be better.
I want some. I was in school with a lot. See, a lot of people don't know all the great ones didn't go to school. See, it's a lot who dropped out. Even when I was coming up, could have been if they would have.
Just a little bit of a little bit of discipline, right?
Oh my God!
It only, we ain't talking about discipline. This much discipline. We ain't talking about this much.
Yeah.
This much. The same discipline that requires you to do the schoolwork is the same discipline that requires you to drop out. And you walk away from it and you blow an opportunity. Oh, this and that and other. Now, oh, my parents did this. I remember there was a brother that I went to school with. His parents were sick. And he was like, man, I'm determined to get my diploma. It wasn't no night school at that time, He came back and he was like 21 or 22, and they let him finish with us. He was like, hey, man, I got to get this because I'm taking care of my parents. Both his parents passed away, whatever. He wanted to have this education. So he went and sacrificed whatever he could, and the school board and the principal allowed him to come to school so he can get this.
That's what's up.
But you don't see that no more. I'll just drop out and I'll go get, and I'm not knocking a GD. I used to teach, I love them because now they done saw after life to kick them in the behind a couple of times. I got to go have this. I had a job, and after 89 days, because I didn't have no diploma, they let me go on purpose. So now I got to get a diploma. Come get it. Because they serious at that point. Right now, you got most of the kids, I'm just going to be a hooper, I'm going to play football or whatever, so I'm really not serious about my education. But that's partially our fault.
It is.
Because guess what we don't do anymore? Hey, I need you to come sit at the table and I need to see what you're doing.
Yeah, because it's more like...
Well, the system says they can just kind of, and you might make them feel nervous about, I don't care nothing about your feelings. Sit your tail down and let me get this work on.
For sure.
See, we want to do all of this feeling stuff. That's even in school. I get sick and tired of somebody always talking about somebody's feelings.
But the system is like to do it, put them in time out. Listen, my time off, you cut up, your mama cut up right with you.
Listen, there was times when I taught out on the other side of town at one of the famous schools that I won't mention, and I had a mom come in and say, you cutting up? I got you. Miss McCants, give me your belt. Here you go. Take her in the back room. She ain't cut up no more.
Right.
She ain't cut up no more. That was it. Next thing I know, she graduated at the top of her class. Years later, at the top of her class.
See?
But we don't want to do that no more because the law says we can't do that and we can't check our children and their feelings are valid. No, okay. Tell me 100 years ago when they little kids out there pulling 200 pounds of cotton, their feelings wasn't valid then. And if they didn't, look at what they did to people in the Congo. There's pictures of what they did with Cecil Rhodes and all these other people that they named a scholarship after that people love to have, where there's a man, and I'll never forget it. I just got to put it up on my phone, that he's looking at because his daughter, who was 5, didn't get a certain many pounds of rubber. He cut off a hand and a foot, and the father sitting there looking at him. So this is the type of stuff that we want to say we're okay with.
Yeah, child labor laws. Like,
all of that stuff. And the only
right.
reason why child labor laws came into existence here in this country is because kids was getting their arms chopped off and all this other stuff because they had to go back and help their family eat.
Yeah.
But they didn't have those child labor laws for
Yeah.
African people in America.
Yeah. But they can pass it now.
Right. Yeah, no. Anyway. So again, being able to enter the phone to the back. Well, then sometimes make your own stage. And I'm not knocking what folks do or whatever, but 'cause sometimes we gotta make our own stage. Because I know a young lady who performs outside of the country, and she's making a killing. She don't perform. She does perform here. I don't know how often she performs. I know she does in Detroit, but most of the time she goes. She's in Belgium and all these other places, and I don't even know what her act looks like. But it's pretty dope for her to be able to fly out. They fly her and her crew all the way out of the country. Hey, okay. So, man, thank you all. Though we appreciate you. So, like, okay, let me make another few points because we got about 17, 18 minutes left. All right. So most of the education is mandated by politicians or business. So when we talk about propaganda, this is exactly what we're talking about. Politicians, no child left behind. That's fine. But if everybody doesn't learn at the same rate,
right?
Why are we still having them to be in the same class? Right. If you got some kid now, it used to be back in the day, one of the floors for those people who had this, what they call educational deficits. I'll say that.
Right.
Disabilities. I won't say disabilities. Educational deficits. They had those, but then you're supposed to be down here. But now they don't want that. They want to be able to put them in a class with everybody. And if they can't learn, then that's unfair to the teacher. And as a teacher, I'm telling you it's unfair. Number two, hey man, go back to make sure your kids know basic stuff. They should know their colors. They should know their address. They should know how to add. They should know how to read. They should know how to do certain basic stuff. If they can't, get them some help. Don't come around here talking about, well, I want you to figure it out. No, because if the 99% of the disruptions that take place in schools happen because kids don't know. If I can't read, then I'm gonna cut up because I know the teacher gonna call on me. It's not that I'm willing to try, because what have we taught our kids to do? That's okay to laugh at other people. Then when we laugh at somebody, then the kid get mad. Now, did we do stuff? Yeah. We did stuff too. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I was also the kid that if I mess with you, I'm gonna help you.
Right.
And man, come over and sit by me. Now, I don't mean I ain't gonna talk about you. That don't mean I ain't gonna mess with you. But I'm gonna help you out because we gonna pass this together.
Right.
Because if I look bad, that means you look bad. And we can't look bad together. Only one of us can look bad.
Right.
That might be you, but I'm gonna help you out so we both don't look bad.
Right.
And that was always the student that wanted the kid that, hey man, because there's another talent there.
Right.
This dude might be able to draw. He might be able to write. That's cool. I want him. I want him. Come on over here.
You have a point.
Yeah. We don't want to do that now. We want to make fun of that kid, or that kid want to isolate himself. Or part of that is, what work are we doing as parents in order to make sure that this kid know or don't know? And then if they don't know, go get some help. Most of our kids don't have good social skills because of what? Whose fault is that? If you let them sit around there and watch a bunch of TV and watch a bunch of videos and think they're watching this stuff, listen, I got a nephew who's a fairly decent musician, rapper, or whatever. My students last year knew when they found out that he was my nephew, that, oh, when you gonna bring him to school? I'm not bringing him up here for y'all. Get the lesson first.
Right.
But what we want to do, the propaganda says you put celebrities in front of people, and they follow that in the first place, and that's more important than learning.
It is.
Yeah. And so what did Malcolm say about celebrities and comics? Those ain't the ones that you need to be talking about, the leaders. But yet, what do?
They put them out there.
hey Mike, hey Shaq, or hey this, and I'm not saying that they don't know. And I don't know how much of our history they study.
Yeah.
They can have political opinions, and that's cool, and viewpoints. How much have you studied in order to be able to really say, I have a real educational opinion on stuff?
But they don't want to lose that money. See, that's the thing. See, Shaq knows, like, listen, don't you, I mean, we know that you look how they did Ali when he spoke out. Stripped him for 3 years. Wouldn't let him make no money. Man, this system will show you who you is.
All the time.
This system will show you who
I've had people always say, why aren't you a principal somewhere? Because I don't follow the flow of what it is that y'all think we're supposed to follow.
Right.
Because it's about really, truly liberation for me. The reason why I went to school was because of that. I had that when I was younger. So people are not interested in a person to lead them that's going to say, look, man, your kid ain't got it. So you're going to go take this kid over here. We're going to put this kid in this room. We're going to work with this kid until this kid get it. Then we're going to put him over here. Now we're going to have him in a room to do whatever. Even when I was teaching adults, they were very clear and they understood. Hey, look, y'all got to get this because it's about your tomorrow. I'm straight.
Right.
And for a lot of them, we're still in touch with each other. And Mr. McCants or Mr. Elliott or whatever, hey, I need some help with this, or I need some assistance with this. Or what do you think about this? Or can you write me a letter of recommendation? That's what we're supposed to do.
But we're not pushing that. We pushing more death and destruction.
Because who's giving it to us?
Yeah.
We follow that whole crazy stuff from James Dean in 1955. Live fast, die young, and leave a pretty corpse. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But that's Hollywood too.
Yeah.
So we all want to be stars. So every time you turn around, you see somebody on. I got my phone up and I'm doing dumb stuff to get likes.
Yeah.
But you don't like yourself.
Mm-mm.
You don't like yourself. And at what point in time do we as parents really talk about, I need you to focus on you? Because guess what? I'm going to help you.
Right.
I'm going to help you. I have to. It's my job.
Right.
God gave me you as a gift.
Right. I'm
not letting nobody else mess my gift up.
Right.
Then I get it. We got a work job. We got to do this. I had like I might as well have been born in Jamaica, no joke. No offense to people. But I do a bunch of different stuff. 99% of the time, I'm on the phone with people. Talking about I was on the phone when we started. 2 hours and a half. Talking with somebody about some stuff in their life that we trying to help them correct. But at the end of the day, when I go home, I got my daughter that I got to make sure she's going to be straight.
Yes, sir.
I got my son, I got to make sure he's going to be straight.
Yes, sir.
I got my other daughter straight. I have nieces and nephews, I'm going to make sure that they're straight. Right? And a lot of the programs that we used to have back in the day, for us, it was teen club. You would stay after school and get help with your homework, and then you still had to go home and tell your parents what you learned. And my dad, though he didn't have an education until later on in his life, he was like, run it to me anyway. Even if that meant he might have been in the bathroom, stand by the door and tell me what you learned. I don't care. Not what you know. Don't regurgitate facts. What you learned. If I ain't learned nothing today, I got something for you. I got something for you. Social skills, you're absolutely right. Absolutely, Mr. Hutchinson. The social skills, but they need to be taught at home. They need to be taught at home. It ain't I know you know how to act. Because what ends up happening is this. I know that if absolutely nothing's going to happen at school, I'm going to act a fool.
Right.
Because guess what? Parents don't do nothing at home. Been there, done that, seen that. And if you're a parent, don't be bringing your kid up to school. If I got to raise them, then let me take them home and get the benefit of it too. Because they're not going to act that way with me.
Right. And I think that's because let's just be honest. This ain't the first time women was having kids.
Yes, no, we've been doing that since we've been here.
My granny was 15.
Right.
So we ain't finna use that as
no, it's not an excuse. It's where the parent is not doing their job, whether you're a single mother or a single father. I don't care. You chose that. You
Right.
made a choice. You made a choice. And I love y'all, and some of y'all gonna be trying to get on my head. I really don't care.
Right.
But you was the one that laid down and made a choice with whoever you chose to make that choice with, whether that person's there or not. If that person decided to abdicate their position and run off and I don't want to be bothered, then guess what? You better find there people around that will help you.
Mm.
Hey, I offer my assistance to a few people.
Right.
I wasn't trying to get at the mom. I don't care. It's about your child. And one phone call, nothing else. I'm not doing it for free. You on my time.
Right. Right. I agree.
This is what I call. This is what I charge. And because I understand your struggles, you're getting a discount.
Right.
But guess what I get? Crickets and tumbleweed on the phone. Then you deal.
Yeah.
You deal. And when we talk about, oh, I'm gonna take my kid to another district, and you're conforming to their propaganda.
Yeah.
You're conforming to. It's better out here. Why? Because you're not dealing. Because what they'll tell you at another district is, we're not dealing with your kid's stuff. We'll send the kid back, and then you go back somewhere else. Meanwhile, you got the same kid, and I'm not saying expectations, but you should have expectations as a parent. Right. Because at the end of the day, the child is your responsibility, not the teacher's. I'm just there for 8 hours. It's a long 8 hours, but I'm there for 8 hours. But at the same time, it is your job as the parent to make sure I'm not even paying it. It better be right, because I'm gonna cut it if it's not.
I'm saying it's just being real.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it.
I'm not. It's not about blame. It's about being honest. Be in my position as a teacher. It's not about blaming, because at the same time, if I offer you the opportunity to tutor your child,
yeah.
and you say, and I don't have the money, then I'm not offering my services. If I say, well, you know what, sign them over to me after school, and I'm giving it to you, and you're choosing not to take it, that is your fault. That you are to blame. So I don't want to hear blaming anybody. It is your fault. If you're not in your child's life to the best that you can, regardless of your mate, whether that means you got to go to court or call the school or get a cell phone or whatever, that is your fault. Stop. We see, once again, we want to be soft, but yet when they kill our kid, we want to cry. Stop that. When they fail our children in school, we want to cry. Stop that. Because if you don't understand what the propaganda is at all, and you're not willing to put anything in place in order to stop the staunch of foolishness, that is your fault. You are to blame. I can sit around here and quote book and verse and page and all of the other stuff, but I bet I ain't seen none of y'all go buy one. And I quoted several books. Go buy them. Put them in your library. Read them with your children. So my dad did with me. I didn't know my dad didn't have a high school diploma until he's got better grades. I thought he was in college.
But we got to get back to that. It meant something back then. It's like how I think when you factored in the way they put the drugs in,
all of that stuff. But listen, yeah. Even over in Africa, where they flooded Africa with AIDS, you don't get no cases of it no more. Because there was stuff that they put in place when that stuff happened, medicines, this, that, the other, changed it, that fixed that. The system is wrong. You're absolutely right. But what part are we gonna play in it?
You gotta as they say, as the Bible says, come out of her, my child.
Yeah.
You really have to pull yourself from out of this, and what it mean don't mean like, okay, you finna leave America. No, you gotta leave this, like, if all the vices that you like.
Yeah.
You gotta cut it. And I mean, don't get it wrong. It took a minute, but when is it gonna be? Because I look at, what was it, Mao Zedong, or whatever, when he told them, look, y'all got so much time, I'm gonna give you so much time to get it right, or I'm starting to kill. It's gonna be, it's so much that gotta be done. I see it as being lost, but I also see it's a time that you can win. Because like what my man said, that one movie about the baseball, if you build it, they will come.
They will come. Absolutely.
We got too many abandoned schools in the city of Flint.
Listen, man, I've been trying to get a building for the last 25 years. Whether it's this, most of the time it's you know, if I talk to a church, they'll be like, there's stipulations. Nobody's trying to, that's your doctrine. It's not my doctrine.
Right.
I'm just talking about being able to allow people to learn who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And because we've been so distinctly away from who we are,
Right.
we don't want to learn who we are because then it requires us to do work.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw somebody say that young parents are disconnected from the community. But why? Why?
Do we have communities now?
No, we don't have communities. We have isolated pockets of situations. So yesterday, I was at a store and I saw this young lady who had her grandson. Sorry, maybe early 50s, and she had
Chris
toys.
Said, "Do you tutor online?"
I'm gonna make it happen. I promise. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. I'm gonna have it set up. I'll figure it out. I'm not
what
real.
age do you tutor? How much do you
Any,
charge?
any and all, and it depends upon what the subject is.
Right.
As long as it's not statistics, then we straight. I hate that class.
Mm-hmm.
So the lady she had a big bill. So the sister at the cash register was real nasty. Like, first and foremost, you didn't have to give her no attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I was like, look, I got it. Mama pay for it. Nope, no, you're not. Go and take your boy, go take his toys, and go play, go have fun. But why in the first place would you say the way that you said it to her, and then you was just gonna be real nasty about it? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Mark Hutchinson, man, I love you, bro. I don't know who you are, but I got you. I love you. But yeah, we gotta understand the agenda is hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
It's always hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, because they had you looking at over here.
So you've been looking at the Olympics, right?
Yes, sir.
Very first thing when they first got there, the athletes first got there, something had to happen at the Paris airport, right? A week or so before that, we had this situation with the global electronics that happened. Yeah, we there's an agenda.
They finna do it because they had the Great Reset, as some called it, when they did, when they shut the country, where the world was shut down.
Shut down on
When they shut everything down, it's like, and now you get how many people got broke. See, I'm waiting on when they do the Great Depression again.
It's coming.
Feel like this gonna be worse.
It's coming.
Than that one was back in the
because here's again, I'm gonna say this one more time since you brought that up, and we got about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. If we don't make sure, hey man, you good? What you need? You need anything? I'm running to the store. I ain't got a whole lot, but whatever you got, I'm gonna share. That's community.
Yes, sir.
That's community.
Yes, sir.
That's community. If we are on that, then we'll be straight.
Yes, sir.
But most of the time, we don't want to be on that because we've been, man, he got one more potato than I did. Man, get out of here with that, bro.
Right.
I ain't got time for that. But for parents, real quick, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
Listen, make sure as we come into this upcoming school year, do not leave don't come in there number one with an attitude, because first of all, you come in with one with me, I'm gonna ask you to leave. I'm not doing that.
For sure.
I'm not, we're not even entertaining that. Be supportive of your student, I don't care what age. And make sure that they know their basics tight. Teach them to think through problems because they're gonna come up with them. And make sure your education is based upon your culture and your idea. That's it. Because the whole process of education is someone else's agenda and somebody else's propaganda. I'm telling you what I know. I've been doing it for a long time. Okay.
What you saying, I can see being done if we could just get
all I need is a spot. All I need is if I get a spot somewhere without people complaining about what I'm teaching, because I've been to other community centers, right, and they'll be like, well, we really didn't want to hear that. We just want to have fun. Really? You just want to have fun all the time? And I get it. Retirees, I get all of that. But you just want to have fun all of the time, forever. And people, why are you so serious? Our situation is serious.
Right.
How come you don't go nowhere and have fun? I don't have time to go have somewhere and have fun.
Right. No, how can you
Yeah,
party when we seen Rome burning?
Right, that's what I'm saying. You know, what's the point of going to have fun all the time, partying all the time, you know, libationing it up all the time,
Right.
and then if something happened because you were not paying attention to what's happening,
Right.
then you want to cry and complain because I was out having fun and now I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, brother.
Thank you all very much for joining us again today. We run out of time as usual.
Yeah.
We always do. Thank you all so much for your comment and your feedback. If I offended anybody, yeah, you'll be all right because we old school and I love you anyway. This is Elliott McCants, I'm an educator, historian. Mr. Caleb, I'm gonna work on being able to make that available. And thank you very much. We appreciate you too, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate that. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. I appreciate you all of you all. We appreciate. So until next time, Elliott McCants. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next week.